This is the 80s Show on iHeartRadio.
Say ho, ho, say ho, 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 ho. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Say ho, ho, say ho, whoa, ho, whoa. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
So, how are those goals? How are those New Year's resolutions working out for you? How's that working out? Everything good? Are you one of the few people that did not revert back to eating candied bacon-wrapped bacon the day after New Year's Day? And actually, you might stand a chance of sticking to your diet, getting into the gym on a regular basis, and becoming that rip-toned super athlete that you promised yourself you would be? That's good, and I commend you for that. But I just want to check in on something and make sure you're not holding off on being happy as a result of it. And it's funny, Funkhauser and I were talking about this yesterday. And Funkhauser is a guy that looks down the road a lot, looks down the road to the future a lot. And I think a lot of us, in radio have a tendency to do that. Because, you know, it's not where you are now, it's where you want to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. When your contract is up or whatever, or when the frog eventually does hop the hell out of your throat. Excuse me. But what's interesting about people, and look, it's great to have goals. It's great to have a plan. It's great to have a 5-year plan or all of the above. But there's a couple things you got to be aware of. You can't be heartbroken when that 5-year plan doesn't play out exactly as you have it in your mind, because things rarely do. What's the old adage? You know, an airplane that takes off in California and flies to Hawaii is off course the vast majority of the time, and pretty much the whole way there, the pilot's just making corrections because things don't go according to plan, but they get there in the end. But the point I'm trying to make is that so many people, well, don't you get the sense that for so many people, happiness is just over the horizon? When I drop 10 pounds, I'll be happy. Like the girl that works at the front desk. When I came in, I was like, hey, how's your New Year's going? She's like, well, I just got invited to be a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding, and, you know, I don't want to have to do that, but I like my friend, so that's cool. Plus, it'll be good motivation to lose that 10 or 15 pounds that I was hoping to lose so I can fit into the dress and feel good about myself. And I won't really be happy until I've lost that 15 pounds, so that's good. I was like, oh, man. I don't know how long it takes to lose 15 pounds, but it's not an overnight thing, really. You're just going to swear off happiness. You're going to put a moratorium on happiness between now and then. So it's great to have goals. It's great to look over the horizon. It's great to set your sights and aim high and go for it. But remember, in the hopes of reaching the moon, men fail to see the flowers that blossom at their feet. Albert Schweitzer.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Jimmy Page to talk about the beginning of he and Robert Plant's musical partnership.
I had material like Dazed and Confused. I had the whole arrangement together of Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You and the source of the verse. And it actually, I heard it on a Joan Baez in concert record. There's nothing like our version. But I did play him that original one. I thought it was, at the time, I thought it was a traditional song. I didn't know. Because I know that at the time those folk artists were doing lots of traditional songs. And plus she did like 3 in-concert albums. This is one of them, and I heard this track and I thought that's really haunting. And along the way, even it was in the days of the Yardbirds, I'd come up with this, right on the tail end, I'd come up with this whole interpretation of how it could be done. So I got into my house and I was sort of presenting him these sort of things, these ideas. And, you know, we had a real good connection because he was, to be fair, even though he said he liked West Coast music or whatever, this clearly was never going to be anything like that. But he was up and open for the sort of things that I was sort of showing him, if you like. You know, I was opening up for him. So that was useful because, to be honest, if he hadn't sort of locked into it, then I'd have been looking for somebody else who was.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Jimmy Page and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Mike Rutherford to discuss the benefit of being in a band as opposed to going about it solo.
I think being in a band is quite good because if you get out of line ever, the others 2 or 3 or 4 will kick you back into the right space. So I think it's important to always be like that in a sense, you know. What a wonderful ride it's been, actually.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Mike Rutherford and all your favorite artists.
Hey, you, what's that sound? I'm coming so loud from your radio dial. AD, be getting down when you're rocking the jams. Here I am, going back once again. I'm ruling all city like a king.
So if you've listened to the show for any length of time, you know that we are a calculated effort to bring the left and the right together over universal truths like boobs are great and fart jokes are funny. And if you're like me, you believe in thinking freely for yourself. I don't let organizations, political or otherwise, tell me how to think. And I think it's a wise thing for all of us to know where the true north is on our moral compass. That whole Republican Democrat thing, those labels are increasingly meaningless as time wears on. And if you allow yourself to be bought into making a knee-jerk reaction just because of the party you've sworn allegiance to, well then, you're probably missing out on something. See, politics is a world of black and white at the moment. It's a world of absolute certainty. And it's a world of uninformed absolute certainty. Politicians, they want to engage moronic voters. They want to engage easily controlled voters. Smart folks like you, and to some extent me, I won't even call myself smart. I'd call myself a guy with a lot of questions. But smart folks who will question things, they're really a time suck for politicians. It's much easier on the left to be able to be like, if you vote for me, you get a free phone. Son of a bitch, I'm voting for that guy. And it's easier on the right side to go, if you vote for me, I'm going to stop people of a different color of skin coming and murdering you in your sleep. Or I'm going to stop the scourge of homosexuality from ruining America. Or whatever the hell it is. And, of course, anybody with any amount of ability to think for themselves, common sense or intelligence would be like, stupid pandering. But that's what politicians want. They want to pander to the stupid because that's a much more expedient way to get votes. It's a much more expedient way to get people to pull the lever in your name if you can just deal with them, win their vote quickly, and be done with it. So it behooves politicians and it behooves people in the political arena to make things seem black or white. It's one way or it's the exact opposite. They don't like to mess around with a gray area. And in the gray area, that's where you're going to find a lot of what we call the truth. And that's where we spend a lot of our time on this show. This show inhabits the gray area because, like I said, that's where you're more likely to find the truth. And we do everything we can to bring you the truth on a daily basis. And I get politicians. I get that it's a game. I get that, most of them are just people that are megalomaniacs of some sort, but not talented or interesting enough to do anything besides politics. Can't write a book, except one about your political aspirations. It's been ghostwritten for you. Become a politician. Can't write a song. Can't act. No, but I really want lots of people to know who I am and like me. Well, politics seems to be the move for you, my friend. It's a place where the untalented egomaniacs of this world can cash the hell in without having to be a force for creativity whatsoever. So that's the way politics works, and I can't really hold it against politicians for playing the game. What I do kind of sort of despise a little bit is people that do what I do. Broadcasters, political commentators, people that are part of this world, not actually players in the game, but bit parts around the side. And it's those people that swing hard left or hard right and say it's only black or it's only white because they're pandering to a bunch of idiots that don't have the sense to question, really grinds my gears. And a lot of people that do that are straight up lying to the camera as they do it because they're smart. They know the truth. They don't actually believe this, but they know that by pulling out a whole bunch of common denominator schlock, they can win ratings and viewers and affect political change. or something of that nature. It's just easier to cater to the stupid, and if you have to overlook the truth by doing that, well, the paycheck's pretty freaking good, which is why I have a problem with people like Nancy Grace, who is irritating to the max, and like I said, panders to the stupid. You know, Nancy Grace doesn't want an audience that questions. Nancy Grace wants an audience of non-opposable, thumb-having idiots that will drag their knuckles as they attempt to applaud her wildly uninformed half-truths that she likes to spew on a regular basis. So when Nancy Grace and the Nancy Graces of this world get trolled so effectively as she was by 2 Chainz, the rapper, Nancy Grace had 2 Chainz on her show this week to debate the legalization of marijuana. When she's so effectively trolled, I rather enjoy it.
So my point to you is, you say that there are reasonable people that can smoke pot, use pot, and they won't involve their children. Nobody else is going to get hurt. But what about these people? That's what makes me keep arguing about this, 2 Chainz. People like this guy, Melvin Blevins.
It's the same thing we talked about earlier, darling, with the legalization of alcohol. You will find some footage like this, but everybody is not doing this. Everybody won't be. Some people actually love their child. Some people know that this is obviously wrong. So this is nothing to really argue about. These people are imbeciles. Okay. You can't use this case to define the whole community.
I got a problem. As successful as you are, as rich as you are, as famous as you are, with this. Smoking California weed with California whores. Excuse me. True. I left that one out. Smoking California weed with California hoes. True.
Yeah.
So he can do it safely, like many people can drink and not have a problem. But he's missing the 1 in 5 people who will start smoking pot as an adolescent and get really sick, for whom pot is a gateway drug, and it's very disruptive to the kind of life they and their families want them to have.
And I'm looking at you now, and you do something. Yeah, you do something yourself. You sneaking and geeking yourself. I'm looking at you, and you're trying to act like you ain't have a little shot before you came on here or do something. See
okay,
what it
Brad,
is?
It's
a lot of functional
you make a
addicts.
joke out of it.
It's a lot of functional addicts out here.
Respectful
and it's a lot of functional addicts. See, you can smell that marijuana, so you know it's on our clothes. No. We can't smell when you're around here sneaking and geeking.
Now, I don't necessarily find 2 Chainz to be an authority on anything, but what boggles my effing mind in this particular instance is how Nancy Grace she was offered up a perfectly cogent point by her guest, who she obviously thought she was going to get on her show and beat up. She wasn't expecting him to be smart. She wasn't expecting him to make cogent points. She wasn't expecting him to be articulate. And when he was, she did what people in this position always do. Rather than have a conversation and go, you know, that's valid. I don't agree with you, but that's valid. She was like, oh, let me quote something incriminating from your album. Mindless trollop that deserves to die. Hey, today on the show, all sorts of good stuff. What was the title of today's show, Funkhauser? We've been titling them lately. What was today's show
Why
title?
the Digital Age Sucks.
Oh, we're going to talk about why the digital age sucks and how it's effectively making us stupider. I came across a really interesting story and some fantastic research, which would suggest that, yeah, it's great. The world of digital is incredibly convenient. It makes life so much easier, more manageable, information at our fingertips on a regular basis. But we run